Hello and welcome to the picturesque Oulton Park circuit in Cheshire for round 3 of the Caterham Academy Championship, the first tier of the Caterham Motorsport Racing ladder. In the championship standings for the green group, it's a tie at the top between Alex Conway and James Venning, 48 points apiece. Ben Miller is second, whilst Roger Gaunt and Dimitris Melas are tied for third. So the green group getting ready for their race here then, with Alex Conway and Dimitris Melas on the front row together, on board here with David Morgan, who will line up fourth, with William Brunt alongside on the second row of the grid. This is the second ever motor race for this entire grid of cars. The championship started with a sprint at Kerborough, a race last time out at Cadwell Park was their initiation, and now Oulton Park a real challenge for the second race of the season, which launches into life now. Off we go. Not a great start made by Alex Conway from pole position, so it will be Dimitris Melas from the outside of row 1 who leads the field towards Old Hall Corner for the first time. Conway fighting back up the inside of David Morgan there for second. Morgan gains one position though because William Brunt has not had a great start. 1 or 2 running wide. Roger Gaunt was one of the blue cars that was on the grass, but I think they all gathered it up and have continued on their way. Down the hill then through Cascade, this tricky left-hander, very steep downhill braking zone. As you can see, it's a high-speed corner and the exit is crucial for the run down the Lakeside Straight. Peter Martin there, the red number 80 car on the outside line, trying to find some grip, trying to find some momentum down this long drag towards Island Bend, where the leaders are nose to tail and slightly out of shape there for the orange car of Melas, the race leader. The yellow number 6 in second position was the pole sitter Alex Conway. In qualifying, he was about 0.6 of a second quicker than anybody else, but in race conditions, things often tend to be a little bit tighter, particularly with this slipstreaming racing that we see so frequently in all forms of Caterham racing. Oh, an attack being made up the inside. That was a lovely little move made by the pink car up the inside of car number 60, Graham Hetherington. So Hetherington losing ground there. That dropped him down into 5th position. The pink car in question looks to be Ben Miller, who has come from 9th on the grid, which is why I was a bit shocked to see him that far at the order, but he's had a really good launch off the line and a good run through the first few corners to gain lots of ground. There is William Brunt from the inside of row number 2, who has done the opposite. He's gone backwards. The pale blue number 88 car losing ground. He's down outside of the top 6 already, having started 3rd on the grid. So lots of shuffling, but of course lots of these drivers, well, all of these drivers, as I said, very inexperienced in racing terms. Therefore, they won't have done that many racing starts. So getting these cars off the line, maybe there are some that have got to grips with that a bit quicker than others. The blue number 14 car goes through there. That's David Gracie, another who's lost a bit of ground off the line, having started in 6th position. At the head of the field, though, it was almost side by side. It is side by side for the race lead, and Alex Conway eventually is going to get himself back in front. He started on pole and he will lead the opening lap, but in reality was only actually in front for one corner as he made the move stick into the final turn at Lodge. Already it looks as though Melas is fighting back there, goes up the inside through Old Hall Corner and takes the lead straight back, gets a bit out of shape though, runs a bit wide over the grass, and Dimitris Melas spins right in front of everybody around. Also has gone Ben Miller, and he will be collected in big fashion by Graham Hetherington, who clatters into the tyre wall at high speed. That was a nasty looking shunt. It looks as though all 3 drivers are okay. I don't actually think anybody collected Melas. I think he's just stalled the car and then had a grandstand view of a completely separate accident that was going on around him. And yeah, Melas will be able to continue, but unfortunately Graham Hetherington and Ben Miller are both out of the race and the safety car boards are shown. Here's the replay then. Melas spun, but behind, the pink car of Miller is having his own accident, and as he comes back into the road, he collects Hetherington, who clatters into the tyre wall, doing a lot of damage to both cars. This was Melas's view. As he looks backwards, you can see there the pink car of Miller getting sideways, and crunch. That was a heavy hit and very unfortunate for Graham Hetherington, who really had no way of avoiding it. Some nice avoidance driving there though from some of the others as they picked their way through, and the race is now back underway with pole sitter Alex Conway out in front and now free of the pressure from Dimitris Melas, who has rejoined towards the back of the field and will be one to watch in the orange machine as he tries to pick his way back up the order. Good battle going on there. The number 30 car is Roger Gaunt, just about fending off for the time being car number 48 there of Richard Hall, who started down in 15th on the grid. Behind them, the blue and yellow number 14 and everybody else in a long queue, all trying to take advantage of the safety car restart to gain a bit of ground. Running wide is car number 28 through Cascades. Fraser Riddington that was. An easy mistake to make though in that difficult downhill braking zone that I mentioned earlier on. The leaders then starting to space themselves out slightly as they head through the Shell hairpin for the first time under full racing conditions. On board here with David Morgan then, who's in second position in the number 56 car. David Morgan right up there in the championship standings as well. Had a top 5 finish last time out at Cadwell Park and indeed at the sprint at Kerborough. He's racing just as well as he sprints, but this is at the moment looking like it may be his best result of the season so far. Let's see whether or not he can go after Alex Conway, the race leader. Third position is car number 77, Dave Curry, who started 7th. And here comes the recovering William Brunt, now at the inside of David Gracie for 4th. Gets the car stopped, sort of. It's not the neatest of lines through the Hislop chicane, but he will, I think, hang on to the position that he's just gained on the way down the hill. Yes, he does. That's 4th position now then for William Brunt, just 1 place behind where he started, but with a bit of a gap now to try and catch the leading 3. Over Clay Hill, underneath the pedestrian bridge they go, through the left-hand kink past the water tower, and then onto the brakes through Druids. But you don't do that much braking for this high-speed double apex right-hander. Brunt didn't do enough braking though. Look, he's missed the apex, run a bit wide, and so David Gracie will carry much better momentum out of the turn. Looks to the inside, looks to the outside. Is there a gap? Not yet, there isn't, and he has to watch his mirrors because right behind him is Duncan Cook in car number 13, the other blue car, trying to take advantage of the battle going on in front of him. Out of Lodge Corner, the tyres screeching as the drivers fight for control in these cars that don't have an awful lot of aerodynamic grip. They have a decent amount of mechanical grip, but the exuberance of the drivers means that quite often the cars are seen going sideways. One of the great things though about the Caterham Academy cars is that they are fairly easy to get to grips with, thus making them perfectly suitable for these extremely inexperienced drivers. It's a perfect way to start motor racing though, and it's the only opportunity really in the UK to take your first steps into motor racing amongst others who are also making their first steps. You're in a field full of rookies rather than being the one beginner in a grid full of very experienced drivers where sometimes you can feel a little out of your depth. Here though, everyone in the same boat, everyone learning together, and I am always impressed by the extremely high driving standards shown by such inexperienced drivers. Through Shell then comes this battle that is still raging here with David Gracie for the time being keeping Duncan Cook at bay. Duncan was quite a bit slower than David in qualifying, but again we're seeing here that an 0.8 of a second deficit in qualifying can turn into absolutely nothing when you're in a race situation. You can use the slipstream to try and stay with the car in front as well. This is a deceptively high-speed circuit, Oulton Park, so the tow is definitely something the drivers can use. They're both though definitely losing ground here, aren't they, to William Brunt, who is chasing down the leaders and closing the gap to the cars in front fairly rapidly. So this is becoming a private battle really, a little bit further down the road from him. There is Cookie, Duncan Cook, number 13, works his way through Knickerbrook Corner, doesn't use all of the road out of the right-hander there for fear of getting on the curb and getting sideways, but then picks up the tow and gains any lost ground up the hill. There you caught a glimpse of William Brunt, who is now right on the tail of Dave Curry, so another position could be about to be made there by the driver who started 3rd but unfortunately dropped back off the line. Of course, he started directly behind Alex Conway, who, despite being the race leader now, didn't get a great launch either, so I wonder whether or not that hurt William Brunt slightly, and that explains why they both lost ground. Good battling going on further back, look, as they come underneath the Paul Warwick Bridge down towards Lodge Corner. Number 99, that appears to be weaving around, trying to do some defending through the tight right-hander and getting sideways and running wide. That's Michael Curley, who started 8th, so he too has not quite been able to deliver on his promising qualifying pace as of yet. Leaders then through Dentons and Cascades, and this is the battle for 3rd, and in fact we've had the change for 3rd now. William Brunt's got himself ahead of Dave Curry. He's made that move, I presume, through Old Hall Corner, and now will try, in the limited time left to him, to chase down the cars in front and maybe go into 2nd place. Oh, off though, unfortunately, into the barriers has gone car number 3, which is Nigel Atkins. He's made light contact with the Armco barrier there. Should be able to rejoin though, I reckon, as into the final corner on his way to the checkered flag is Alex Conway. Alex Conway, who won last time out at Cadwell Park, is becoming the man to beat as far as the racing is concerned this year, because from 2 races, it's 2 race victories for Alex Conway to extend the championship lead. A really solid start to the season. He was on the podium at Kerborough at the sprint at the start of the year as well, and he's proven very difficult to beat in the races ever since then. The rest of them come across the line as well. Dave Curry losing some ground there towards the closing stage, has dropped out of the podium positions, unfortunately. Everybody, though, has got somebody to play with, regardless of where you are in the order, except, arguably, for Alex Conway, who pulled away to take the race victory. Confirmation of that result then, with David Gracie and Dave Curry at the back of the top 5, scoring some good points. William Brunt third, David Morgan second, but 5 seconds behind the winner, Alex Conway.
Wasn't expecting this going to the weekend, but yeah, delighted. And good for the championship as well. I had a tip from one of the 310 drivers, and he said, just plan what you're going to do if there is a safety car. And yeah, thanks, James. Great. Yeah, it made a massive difference. Otherwise, I would have been panicking. I was quite gutted.
What a pity.
Can't believe it. Into the academy, what a wonderful thing it is. And I never expected to be on a podium. I'm just ecstatic. I can't believe it. Thank you. Yeah.
Ecstatic. I can't believe it. I mean, a podium.
Yeah, well, I had it all to do back to 9th off the start. Terrible start, back to 9th. So I had to do some racing to get started 3rd, finished 3rd, but was back down in 9th. I think if I'd have had 2 more laps, I think I could have got Dave, but I'll get him next time.
So his second victory of the season means that Alex Conway enjoys a 12-point championship lead, leaving Oulton Park over David Morgan and William Brunt, who are just 1 point apart, 2nd and 3rd. Roger Gaunt and Demetrius Melas round out the top 5. Well, great racing here. Alex Conway proving tough to beat. He'll be aiming to continue that form next time at Snetterton.